Philippe, if we just start with an injury update from the week. How's everyone looking ahead of Sunday?
That Rabi, that's why I changed him also at halftime. He had a small muscle injury. So we made a scan to make control, and okay, it's clear there's a small thing. So he will not be available for this game. I think he will be back short term, but will for sure not be able to play this weekend.
Other than that, is everything else okay?
Yes, the same players stay out. Only Leon Balogun comes back. So we made the adjustments with his mask, so he can be in the selection. That's something for me to decide towards the game of Sunday.
Obviously, since the winter break, you've won all of your games, joint top of the league, still in 4 competitions. Well, already won one of them.
3.
Yeah, still in 3 competitions.
I wish it was 4, but it's 3.
You've already got one in the bag. Obviously, the team's playing really well, but how many more gears do you feel you have to go until the end of the season, until you feel you reach the peak level?
A lot, a lot. There's still much to become better. One thing, we have 3 new players who are just in the building. Fabio a little bit longer, but Oscar and Dio, they're just here. So they need to get used of everything, how to play, how their teammates run, the timings, to do the right things together. Although they do already a lot of good things, and they stepped really fast into the story, but a lot of to improve there. We had a lot of players. At one moment in December, it was 11 or 12 players injured. And we have several players who come out of a long-term injury, so they're not at their top for the moment. And I think I don't have the feeling there's one player in this squad who is like, this is his maximum and he cannot become better. I don't have that idea. So there's still a lot of progression to make. And for sure, in our work together, to have the right timings and to do the right things at the right moments.
You expecting a tough game up at St Johnstone on Sunday?
Yeah, of course. It's always special, the away games, different kind of surface than at Ibrox, and teams who are super motivated to play against Rangers, because you know the longer you have a series of games that you win, the more the opponents are hungry to break that. So no, it's going to be a hard game, you know.
Can I ask you about the VAR stuff that came out from yesterday, Philippe? 13 incidents where the wrong decisions were claimed to have been made. I think 4 of them involved Rangers. The penalty incidents, what do you think of them? Did they get them right?
Honestly, I didn't see the list. Because it's the past, and you know, I said to you guys already a lot of times, I live in the present and in the future. But it's good there's transparency. That's already an important thing. And that their faults are made, that there's communication about, and we can learn lessons out of that. That's for me the same, if I make mistakes. So I think it's very important for the game of football that there's transparency, that there's also communication, and I think it's important that there can be more communication between, for example, referees and managers a few times a season, let's say 2-3 times a season, outside of the games. Because for the moment, the only communication is around games where all the tension is. And it can be interesting to have good discussions about the game of football and the rules and things that happened maybe in the months that were before that. That's to have discussion about that in respect, in a good way, that there is no misunderstanding or less misunderstandings, and that everybody can have their view on things, and like this we can come to a better product of football. And I mean really both sides, that managers can talk about some things that happened in games and that you don't understand why, because we need to explain our players also, why decisions are made afterwards. And also the referees can say about actions in the game, and also maybe about behavior of managers. So I was also a little bit too temperamental the last game, and I kicked away a bottle of water, and I get a yellow card. So I understand afterwards that I get a yellow card for that. If we can have open discussions about that, we as managers can learn also things. And me in the first place.
Is that something that happened in previous countries you managed in, or just something you would like to see?
We did it in Belgium once or two times, and it was really interesting because it's a different relationship with the games. There's always a lot of tension, and everybody's really focused on their job. But I think it's important to have good communication between each other and see each other also sometimes in a different way. I think it can be something that's interesting for Scottish football and for the product of the football.
You spoke there about the challenges of playing St Johnstone and the pitch and the different type of surface and the players used to Ibrox. Can you just ask what you've made of the general standard of playing surfaces in Scotland since you came?
That there's still some work to do. And I think you see in all the top leagues that there are really high standards now about surface, because football is a product and we are an entertainment sector. You guys all know. So the better the product is, the more it's worth also. You see where are the best pitches in the best competitions, and I think Premier League is there a big example. So the standards from federation, I think, are really high towards the pitches. It's also the better football you give, the more money you will get from television also, because people will like to watch that more than when the ball bounces 3 times every pass you give, because you don't have a good product. So it's an important thing to raise the standards in that way. I think there are a few pitches in Scotland who don't have and for sure during winter, don't have the quality that the teams want. For example, in St Mirren, I heard this from the people themselves. They were not happy about that because they wanted to play better football on the pitch, but it was not possible. So it's something to invest in, for sure. And it will make the product of football better and Scottish football better also in that way.
Does it surprise you that clubs haven't been perhaps investing enough into their pitches?
No, I don't want to go in that discussion. That's not my role. That's not my role. My role is to see that everything goes well here. I can, if you ask me a question, I can give my opinion about things, but it's not my role to say what other teams need to do. I think there are other people in the country to do that.
Philippe, you're obviously very respectful of every opponent you face, but given how tight it is at the top of the table, at what stage will you start considering goal difference, goals scored, etc.?
Not until the last game about goal difference and things like that, because I ask my players every game to score as many goals as possible. There's no difference there. It's not that we score 3 goals and I say, oh guys, now it's enough. No, I push them from the first day, and you saw already, because that first day we scored 4 against Hibs. I want them to be ambitious from the first second until the last second, to take the maximum out of every game. So there's no difference in approach now than it was 4 months ago, because I always want to take the best out of the game and the most out of the game. Every time I want to see a team like that.
Philippe, your team had 43 shots in the last game, but you also had 20 corners. I just wondered what you make of the set pieces from the team. Are you satisfied with them at the moment?
It's an interesting question, because I've been looking deeper into that this week. And I had the feeling we didn't create enough. But if you see the data until now, in that period together, we are doing quite well. but we underperformed in scoring goals because we hit a few times the crossbar. And there were also really good saves of goalkeeper. So the goalkeepers overperformed against us until now in the data, if you speak about expected goals and things like that. Can it be better? Of course, it would be boring if it could not be better. So we're working on that also before every game to do the right things.
I notice a number of elite clubs now have a set-piece coach. Aston Villa had great success, I think, with it. Is that something you might look at in the future?
No.
Specific?
No, because I love set pieces. And yeah, that's a thing of the past. But I think it was one of the reasons that I played a lot of games also, because I scored a lot of goals on set pieces. So that part I will not give away. Maybe other parts.
Can I ask about, you mentioned goalkeepers performing or overperforming against you. Your own goalkeeper seems to be performing at a very high level. How do you rate him in terms of the guys you've managed or even played in front of? And what does he bring to your team that allows you to play the way you want?
It's a really interesting question. Interesting press conference like that. If I say because as a manager, I cannot say much because I'm not that long a manager. It's only my 7th season now. If I say player and manager, everything together, and assistant manager, all this period, I would say he's the best together with Mignolet. Or out of this more than 30 years. Hard to think about that. But no, that's reality. The Czech together with Simon are the 2 best I ever met until now.
So highly then, you rate him very high?
Yeah, very highly. Yeah, because if people are talking about being in the England squad, that says enough, I think. Because for me, England will be one of the favorites now to win. So no, he's a really, really top goalkeeper for me. And not only that, but also top personality, because you can be a really good goalkeeper, but not, for example, be a leader in the dressing room. But they both were. I need to say that about Simon also. And they're quite similar. Okay, they have some specific different qualities, but they were both leaders in a way with a lot of authority, but really natural, not like forced. I like both of the personalities.
Would it be a fitting reward if he is recalled by Gareth Southgate?
Yes, but that stays, what I said already a few times, that stays the decision of Mr. Southgate. He knows all the other goalkeepers. I don't watch all those games, so I cannot make comparison. But I can only say one thing, Jack is totally ready. Point. And that's what I see every day, and every game he's proving that. He almost didn't have any downfall in that in all those 4 months together. So he's a really, really top-class goalkeeper for me.
Philippe, is there any update on Kamal Roof's time frame when he will be back available?
No, not yet, because we are going like really step by step. He trained today the first time, but with the second team. So that was the first step, to really make step by step, to let it grow and to be sure he comes back in a good way.
Could he be back, within?
No, I don't want to take a time frame on that, because then I put pressure on my medical staff and on Kemar about that. I want him to be 100% fit when he's with me. And before that, he's working with them. Of course, with always my eye on that, because he still can be very important this season.
Is it difficult in that sense? He's missed a lot of football, he'll be eager to come back. You have to slow him down as much as the medical team do as well?
Yeah, it's about good communication together, what is realistic or not, and not to do stupid things.